Congrats on the win. For either one of you ladies, I said this to Becky without taking anything away from those two special championship teams. Becky comes in to this league and creates this new scheme that took the league by storm. 2023 teams are still playing catch up with y'all. But with what you ladies have done this year and overcoming after a 14-14 start, the resiliency that this team is playing with right now, could argue that this is a more battle-tested overall. Don't use the word better, mistakenly used that earlier, but compared to those two, I know it's three separate teams. Could you just talk about how special this team is becoming?
Recording in progress.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're special because we really had to learn how to believe in one another. We had to learn to be in the trenches and see things not work, to touch that hot stove and be like, ooh, we don't want to do that again. And I think in the beginning, with the championship teams, we were just kind of going with the flow. Everything was new. Everything was like, cool, we go with what we go with. But this go around, we kind of already set the standard. And when you don't uphold that standard, it hurts. It breaks you a little bit. And sometimes you don't know how to react. We had a new team, new coaching staff, new everything. So I think this team is very different because we had to just figure it out on our own. We had to just, and even Becky, like, she let us go. She kind of took her hand off the leash and was like, you guys got to figure it out, because it is on us at the end of the day. And I think you see that now when it comes to our record, when it comes to just how we're playing. I mean, push the record away, just how we're playing. It's so different because we were in the foxhole together. We've always been there. We will continue to be. So this doesn't come by any surprise of what we're doing, but I would say that this team is very different because we were really in the trenches together.
Just for either of you, what does a win like this say about your ability to contend for a championship?
I don't even know if we go that far for real. I think that the way in which we won this game, that we sustained runs, we matched them. That, like, in the first quarter, it was kind of bar for bar, and before we would have matched the run offensively or defensively. And so I think those kind of habits is what build championship teams rather than looking down the road too far. It's just building those daily habits, and each time we step on the court, you revert back to what you've been used to. And so here today, like, we showed some fight, even in sustaining those runs.
You talked about showing some fight, but he also talked about just what she liked about the offense tonight. She mentioned, like, this is kind of what she imagined the offense would be like at the start of the season. I'm wondering, I guess, what felt different in the flow of the offense tonight for both of you?
Cutting, playing off of each other. We were just selfless tonight. That's what we talked about coming into this basketball game. We got to move their defense, and not just this team, but you've started to see the assist numbers go up and the passing go up, and that's all reflective in what we're talking about in the locker room, which is just playing for each other, cutting, setting screens, stuff that doesn't really show up in the stat sheet. Cutting and screens, you're never going to see that, and they're not going to get the credit. But those little moments, whether it's a guard on a big or a big set in a drag screen, all those things are all important to make the big picture work.
Last one for me. Asia, more MVP chance for you tonight. I know you probably get tired of talking about it, but, like, in an arena like that, you were really excited to play in this arena. Like, just what does a performance like this feel like for you?
Another day in the office. It really is. I try to work as hard as I can so I can just perform well, not just for our fans, but for my teammates. I think kind of what Just was saying, like, today in our offense, we weren't stagnant. We moved the ball. We were moving as just players. And that's what creates these games like this. Like, you prep for these type of moments on the big stage and in front of all the fans here in T-Mobile. But it is a blessing. Like, I wish, like I said before, I'm like, I don't take the credit for this. God has been working on us for a minute, and you see it now. So it's a blessing to show up to work every single day and be able to do what I do. And I do it.
For the player, after that last Minnesota game, was there any moment you can point to that things really changed, or how did you bounce back from that to where you're doing now?
We got embarrassed last time we played them. I mean, that didn't embarrass you. I mean, you've seen the quote, "Don't show up to the game the next day." I mean, it was pretty cut and dry and simple. It was no in between.
Hey, John, this game had the hype of the top two teams, arguably the top two players in the league. I mean, it's kind of refreshing to have a high profile matchup that the narrative is solely about basketball and not the stuff that happens away from it or off the floor or around it in a more meta way.
Honestly, I feel like all my battles are like that. It really is. I mean, it's been pretty in the league that we're in and in the position that I play. It's high profile every single night, and that's why I have to bring it every single night because I'm honored to be guarded in many different ways, and it makes me think and it makes me have to really stay on top of my game. But this was a game that I think was very healthy for our league, and as we continue to grow, I mean that's what makes the NBA so special is building those rivalries and having people kind of like, no, this is strictly ball, like this is basketball, and you get to watch it played at a very high level. So to have my name in those conversations every single night, whenever I play, and have our names as the aces there at the forefront, it's pretty fun to have those matchups for sure.
Over here, Asia, at the beginning of the season, Becky talked about she wanted a locker room filled with wolves. How are you feeling about the composure of the pack and what you've gone through this season and now being on this historic run?
I mean, it took us a minute to be. I think we're still baby bulls right now, but it took us a minute to get there. And it doesn't. Anybody that's been a part of the team, like it's on court, off court, when you're a part of a group, it takes a minute to gel and to mesh and to get to know each other. What people like, what they don't like, how they want the basketball, how they don't like. It takes time, and like I said before, we spoil so many people with our greatness that our leash and our time was just under a microscope. But now you see that we needed time to really get it together. And I think us as baby wolves, we're slowly starting to get there. We're slowly climbing up that mountaintop together and leaving no one behind. And I think that's the beautiful thing about our locker room is like, we're just so close knit. Like we make sure that everyone's okay and that we're never leaving somebody behind or someone feels excluded. We're just there for one another always.
Two quick ones for me. For you, Asia, you talked about the way, and I've asked you about the way defenses are guarding you pretty much all year long. During this win streak, it's felt like things have been more centralized. Put you around the free throw line area in the middle of the floor. Just how has that kind of simplified things for you offensively?
It's kind of hard to bring a double in the middle of the floor, particularly also when you're surrounded by shooters and you gotta guard somebody at some time. So I think the biggest thing that I focus on is just making sure that I can get to my spots and not necessarily get to my spots for the basketball, but get to my spots to be productive for my team, whether it is to draw two and kick or it is to just make them step up and have the dump off to list in the post. So it just gives it a more central like nucleus point of that we can really distribute the basketball in another way, and it's kind of hard to bring the double in a sense.
Yeah, just kind of looking at you played the entire first quarter, small break, earlier return in the second, played the rest of the second, played the entire third, check out, I think, midway through the fourth. Just how were you able to stay mentally locked in the way Minnesota plays, particularly offensively?
Cardio, like I just train my body for it, and it looks different every single game. Like the Minnesota's not gonna look like the Atlanta's not gonna look like the Dallas. So you just learn how to play through it. You know how to where to get your breaks, how to get them, and sometimes it comes on the offensive end, just slowing it down a little bit. So you prep your moments for these moments because either you see it on film or you just understand the flow of the game and how it's gonna be.
Chelsea, you and Jewel have had a very strong chemistry going into the season and throughout. How would you describe your chemistry with Jewel so far?
It just took time. I said if she's gonna cut or I'm gonna try to find her and hunt her for threes or hunt her for opportunities to score. I want to make her life as easy as possible whenever she steps on the floor. So she started to understand that. It's an adjustment, honestly. Playing with me, I'm always got my head up. I'm trying to put you in the best position possible to be successful. And so it just took time. And now she's picking her spots. She knows when the play is coming for her. Our language, and our chemistry is flowing. And so I really appreciated our conversations and trying to get better. It just took time, and we realized that.
Last one, Michael on Zoom. Michael?
Yeah, thank you. This is for Chelsea. Is this the most dramatic turnaround you've been a part of as a player when you consider your you're struggling to be 500 in July. Now you set a franchise record for 13 wins in a row. Does it feel like that?
Yeah.
A turnaround? And what does it mean to, I guess you could answer that then. What does it mean to be going for the number 2 seed, which you guys wouldn't have thought that was a possibility not that long?
I mean, that locker room was a strong-willed locker room to be able to sustain. There were lots of moments where we could have folded. We could have went our separate ways, and we just got tighter. We just stayed with the process, and it's been beautiful to kind of see, and everybody's kind of reaping the benefits of that. And I always say every season you want to be playing your best basketball August, September, and that's what you're seeing right now. And I still think there's another level that we can go to on both ends of the floor. But yeah, Michael, like it was getting a little scary now. It was getting a little scary. We had to turn it around, but we just kept the conversation going. We never stopped believing in one another. From top to bottom, we knew we were going to turn it around and just there was going to be a way to do it. And I'm just really proud of this group that we're able to do that and stay together.
All righty, thank you, players.
Oh, yeah.